Hi, welcome to my blog again on the Norco by Vintage Norco restoration. Today I'm going to change the bearings in the actual steering column and re-grease them, clean them and re-grease them. Most of this bike, the grease has just been left way too long and has kind of gone cardboard like. So we just clean it out and put in new grease. So let's get to it. What we're going to do today is just take off this bottom wheel here. You can go. And we're going to take off the handlebars quickly and take this shaft out and have a look at the bearings and make sure they're okay. So let's get to it. Wheels off. Yeah, what we're going to do right now is just take off this handlebar. Most of the older bikes have the same thing. You just loosen this screw with an Allen key, comes up a bit, and then you hammer it down. What that does is take this wedge up out of the bottom here, which is squeezed in. And when it comes up like that, you hammer it down and it loosens, as you can see. Needs cleaning. So there you have it. We have the steering wheel out. Now we're just going to unscrew these bolts right here. So if you want to remember how to put it back together, for all you people that haven't done it before, you just take your phone and take a snap of what you got here. So when you strip it, you can get it back together. Alright, and when you drop this out, the bearings will fall out, so you have to be careful. Alright, so we're just about to take it apart. This will definitely have bearings come out of it. So I may lay it on the table to do this, but I can crack this first. Alright? Just a little tip, when this is coming out it's fine, but when it's up like this and it's inside the bike here and you want to hit it down, if you don't have a mallet and you only have a hammer, take a piece of wood and lay it on top and then hit the bolt with the hammer so you don't damage anything here. So you don't need to go buying all the extra mallets and everything to do these things. Alright? And the same here. I have a large wrench, which most people won't have. You can go and get a rag and put a pipe wrench on this if you have it and get this off. It's the same concept. Now this is going to be a tough one. Doesn't like this, does it? Okay, we're going to have to get a board in the forks. So this happens sometimes when this bolt has most likely never been off. You put a board in the forks here, and then you put your spanner on it and press. There we go. The little leverage to hold it, That's the one off. There'll be a spacer, and then there'll be the lock, another one. Here's the spacer. The washer with the key in it. And then you're going to have this other one that usually screws off quite lightly. Now I'm holding the fork up, my hand here, as you can see, so the bearings don't all come out. So we can have a look. Now this is actually running quite cleanly, but I want to have a look anyways. It's fairly clean. It needs just a little wiping. Nice that it's in a casing. It's not loose, so they're a little bit more modern than the ones I expected. And the grease is a little bit old looking. So now the fork just falls out. So it was in this way, facing down, which is important too, to get it the right way afterwards. And this comes off. There's a bearing underneath here. and this is facing up from what I see. You can put it on your shaft like that so you remember it. And this one was facing down. Was it facing? It was definitely facing down. Okay, so there we go. There's the bearing, the way it has to insert afterwards, and this is how this one goes on. That's going to be important to put the bearings the right way around. So pay attention. Now we're just going to wash these off and put them back in. So just cleaning off the bearings and that here. As you can see, there's a bit of guck on here. Right? That'll clean up nicely. And then we'll grease it again when we put the bearings on. And here you can see the top is, the lock ring up top is to be soaked as well. The rest needs just polishing. It's going to rain here in Vancouver. Here's the bearings. Cleaning up nicely. There we go. Bottom, doing the bottom. A little grease around here. Now always check which way your bearing will go. You can never have this casing hitting anything. So this bearing has to go in this way because these ball bearings have to run in the groove down here. There you go, and we'll pack it with a bit more grease. Like this. How lovely that's going to be, huh? Nice and clean, right? Right, gotta wipe my hands. And see, when you put this, your steering back in here, it's going to slot in like that. Oh, that's going to turn so lovely. And now we have to do the top end, which I have to flip the bike, but I have to keep the forks up. Yeah, because of the flipping of the bike, if I must pan over for you guys. Over here I put on the lock washer so this fork can't come out when I flip, and then I can show you on the video how it's done. If I don't do that, I can't really do it without working it all out differently. So here we go. We're going to flip this bike around. Come on, baby. Being stubborn. It might have been better to just turn the whole bike around and leave this straight. Hang on. There we go. We'll do it this way. Sorry about this. It's one of those things when you're doing bikes. So we're going to flip the bike around. Now you have the steering down. Tighten this back up. Takes a couple of minutes. Ooh, That should be tight enough to get what we're doing done. And now it's too tight. Just give me 2 minutes here. There we go. That'll hold anyways. And we're going to do the top end where I've just put this lock wash for the time being. We're going to put the bearing in there now. So with my lower hand, I'm holding the fork up again. We'll undo this. I had to do this mainly because of using the video, moving the cameras. Normally I wouldn't put the lock wash on, I'd do it all in one go, but that's life. There we go. Excellent. That's up. Now all we got is to work out which way this bearing goes in. It definitely goes in that way. Greasing it. Bearing. A little bit of a hair there. You don't want any grime or any dirt in these bearings at all. And then our lock washer. And tight, most likely. Oh, look at how that's turning. There should be no slop in the up and down movement at all in the steering. Now if I can get my stand a little bit out there like that, you can feel it's a little tight. Oh, I can't loosen it now. There we go. There's nothing in there. All right. Then you have, remember this, the washer with the key in it so that they can't turn when you're steering. In our top lock nut, which I polished but does have damage from, a little bit of damage from previous work. Looks like a vice grips or something was used to open it up. You can't do anything about that though, unless you want to get another part. And there you have it. Your steering has been changed. Normally you don't have to tighten this too tight, just tight enough. Look how lovely that is. There we go. And that's your bearing in. And here's the bottom of the steering been cleaned up from rust, and the rod has been cleaned. Now later on I'll come back and put tape and brakes on the handlebars, but for the moment I'm just going to, because I've cleaned the shaft and everything, we can just slot this in here. There we go, and we give it a light squeeze so that, make sure this is straight like that, and you just give it a light squeeze with the Allen key so you can work on the bike. Right, and there we go. And there's our steering. There's no slop, no movement in this at all. We have a little rust down here. Now if I have a little rust on the outside, just take a little wire brush and give it a little, see if I can get rid of it. This bike was kept indoors most of the time. You know, you want to try to do as little as possible to it. Isn't that lovely though? And that's your steering completed.